guys, what's up? I'm Brian here, doing another video for you guys, and this time we're going to take a look at the Transformers Prime, Beast Hunters, Voyager, Predaking. Now, some people consider, and I'm just going to say it right off the bat, some people consider Arachnid to be one of the worst Transformers Prime figures to date. For me, I don't know if it's because some people have already said that before I got that, and once I got the figure it was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Or maybe it's because I just don't really care too much for it. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like some of the things on it, so I'm not sure. But I don't really absolutely hate the Arachnid figure. And maybe this is because it's just my version of Predaking is different from some other people's. And I just have some quality control problems with it. This is probably my worst Transformers Prime figure to date. And I know a lot of people are going to instantly bash me for that and say, no, he's not. For my collection and the version that I have, I'm just considering the one that I have in my collection. Yes, it might have just quality control issues that are only on mine, but this is the one in my collection, and I consider it one of the worst Transformers Prime figures in my collection. I still have it, because I love Transformers Prime so much, and I do like some of the things going on with this, and the ideas. I like the ideas and what they were going for with this guy, but the execution and the quality control issues that I have just completely ruin it. But let's talk about some of the good things for it. First off, the coloring. I love the black, I love the orange, even though that the orange paint is different than the plastic orange, I do like that. I like the transformation on this guy. While he's a little thick right around here and it looks kind of odd, I do respect the fact that they tried to go for a different transformation, and he is probably the most complex Predaking you're going to get from the Transformers Prime lineup. I also like the tail. I think the tail looks pretty cool. It has this design that stops at this point and then it goes a little weird, but I do like this part. So there's that. I like the legs. The legs have a lot of articulation going for it. You get a rotation joint here, and I believe you get, you get a little bit of out and in. You get a hinge joint down here, and then you have a hinge in the toe. For the front arms, you get a joint in the shoulder. You get out and in, you get rotation right here, you get an elbow joint, and then you get a ball joint, as well as a bunch of hinges for the front claws and then the back claws. So that's pretty cool. And then for the head, you get a lot of articulation too. You get rotation. It moves a little bit up and down from this point right here. And then you get a joint right here. You get another joint right here. In fact, the head itself is on a separate joint than this section in the back. So that's pretty cool. Again, if I didn't mention it, you get rotation. And you also have a jaw that opens and closes. Now, this head section is rubber, so you can take it off. I don't necessarily mind, and I do understand what they're going for with that. Now, with that said, I said that there's a couple of problems with this guy. First up, the joints that hold up the back legs, they don't really hold up too well. Now, that problem, I don't mind. That's not really an issue. One of the biggest issues is some of the things don't really stay in place, like the legs in the midsection, they don't really want to stay connected. And then there's nothing that really connects this section right here, so that just loosely goes by like that, which it's not really supposed to. And yeah, I forgot to mention that the wings have articulation. You get a joint here, you get a joint here, and then a joint here. But the problem is, these joints, okay, not so much that wing, but this wing is so loose, and again, I'm not sure if that's just mine, but it's so damn loose and it's painful. Another thing that I don't like, well, maybe I kinda do, kinda don't, is you can see that from the tail it bends to the side like that. I understand that I'm holding it like in a situation that would allow it to bend, but it still bends at a point right around here. Don't know if it's supposed to do that, or if that was actually something in the design. I kind of like it because it makes the tail have a little bit more life, but, yeah, there's that. And also, another thing that I don't like, the guns. I really just don't care for these. They combine together to form a mega gun, but the problem I have with this gun, and I don't know why, it just all of a sudden started happening. I popped it out before the review started, but it won't lock back into place. I have tried everything to lock that back in, and it won't stay in place, and it's pissing me off. So I just let it hold that in place, and did it just stay in place just now? No, it didn't. But yeah, I really don't like that. And I tried swapping out the missiles to see if that would help and constantly rotate it. No, it really didn't. But anyways, you're supposed to launch that by pulling this down, and then it would automatically fire, which I think is a cool gimmick, and you can also combine these. And there is a peg right here that you can connect right there, so you can have that Transformers Cybertron Scourge look. But I really don't care for these guns. I really just don't. I think they're terrible, but whatever. Again, I do get the ideas. I like what they're trying, but the execution is just so poor. But yeah, that's Predaking in his alt mode. We can go onto the robot mode. Again, lots of good detail, and I think the head is very nice, but just a lot of issues to this toy. Now, for the transformation, you're going to pop off the tail like so, and let's bring up the camera. And what we want to do is separate the legs in the midsection right here and separate that from the tail like so. Alright, so both sections in the knees, there is a little tab right there that would go into a couple of holes on the sides here, where I'm pointing at, and right here, where I'm pointing at. Anyways, what you want to do is bring the legs out and rotate them down like so, and do they click into place? They don't really click into place, unfortunately. And I just felt like I was about to break that, but I didn't, so that's good. Anyways, flip out the foot like so. Rotate this section to the back, and there is a tab right here that will go into a little hole right inside, and flip out the toe section for the back legs, and that will form a heel. For the other side, you pretty much want to do the same, although the leg is backwards, so you'll get a different look from the back. But I do like the transformation to this guy. I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, that will flip up to the back, and you can flip down these orange little bits, like so. And again, you get a different look going for the back, but I do like the transformation and what it's going for. So, pretty cool. Anyways, with that said, what you want to do is just leave that down like so, and take the top, get the wings out of the way, which are really pissing me off, and rotate that. Next, what you want to do is open up the chest, like so. And I do know about how to strengthen up the joints and whatnot, it's just I haven't really gotten to it. I get so many people telling me, oh, there's a way to tighten up the joints, and it's like, I know. I've seen many reviews where they pretty much say that when the joint is loose, so I pretty much know how to do that. Thank you. I'm sorry to cut into the review and just basically say that, but so many people have said that already, and I'm just like, I'm not stupid. Anyways, the head will rotate. You bring up the head, and there's a little tab that will go into a little section right in the chest. Close that back up, and the head will fold into the body like so. And you make sure that this is lined up to where it will go into these little hole sections. You can see these little bits hanging off the back. They will go into little gaps right in here, like so. And you just line that up. And this should be able to push up to where it will slot into place. But it doesn't want to do that right now. Let's see, come on. There we are. Okay. And there you have the back section. And there is, oh yeah, and rotate the arms down and flip up these little spikes. And flip down almost called these the arms. Flip down the wings and you can fold them back if you like so. Again, they're on a double joint. And there you have Predaking in his robot mode. And again, he looks really good. I love the head design. Yes, it's all rubber, but I love the design of it alone. I think it looks pretty cool. The hands look very nice. Again, aesthetic-wise, he looks very good. It's just the execution is not good. First up, I don't know if this is on mine, but the heel doesn't really want to line up to this heel, so one will stick out further. And then for the foot, they like to pop off so easily. I can just see them wiggle around every time I just stand the figure up, and I don't like that. Another thing that I don't like is the knees. They move down way too easily, and I don't like that. As far as the arms are concerned, they're mostly fine until you plug in the weapon. But I think just for the arms alone, they're pretty good. They have some nice tight joints, so that's pretty cool. You will knock over the horns things, the spike pieces, once in a while, but you can flip them back, so that's fine. Lots of nice articulation in the hand, so that's pretty good. And again, the head has some nice articulation. You can move that side to side. You can move that up and down, so that's pretty cool. You can move the wings however you wish. God, I really hate the knees on this guy. And so there's that. Again, he looks very good, but the thing that I'm disappointed at is the quality control problems. Which, for some people, they're going to say, well, that's not as bad as Arachnid. No, the reason why it's worse than Arachnid is because Arachnid, I knew what I was expecting. For this guy, I expected a little more to come out of this, and it's just so much worse than it came out. Now, I know some people are going to say that you shouldn't really base it off that. It should be just which figure is better and which figure is worse. But again, like, Arachnid could be a worse figure. Let's say that she is just a worse figure in general. For me, I was expecting less from the Arachnid than I was the Predaking. And it really disappoints me that the Predaking does better than the Arachnid for me. So there's that. Anyways, he comes with the weapon. He comes with this little blade, which can barely hold onto his hand, or his hand can barely hold onto, because once you have it in the hand, it's just going to pop off. And then you got the weapons that can combine, but you can also plug on the side of his arms. So that's pretty cool, I guess, if you like that kind of stuff. I mean, there's that. That's something, I guess. Woo. I don't really care. I don't like the weapons in general. I just don't. So yeah, I think the best weapon is honestly the sword, and you can barely hold that frickin' thing. Anyways, a comparison, let's take a look at the Beast Hunter Cyberverse Predaking, which sadly beats this guy. Yeah, there's that. We can also compare this to the Voyager class Optimus Prime, and yeah, not sure how I feel about the deco on this guy with the green, but he still does a lot better than this guy. I mean, he's a very simple toy, but, I mean, that just means he doesn't really get too many things wrong, so there's that. And then we can compare him to my Beastfire Predaking, which I still stand to say is way better than the Voyager. Just way better than the Voyager. Not as much articulation and not a huge transformation on the guy, but he's just, the execution is done so much better on that toy than this. So, if you want a Predaking that looks very good, I'd say, okay, this Predaking looks very good. The articulation is there, so I will give that. And again, it's probably just on mine, but he's got so many quality control issues that I can't recommend him. I totally recommend any other Predaking other than this. Seriously, the Beastfire Predaking is way better than this. The Cyberverse Predaking, way better than this. The Cyberverse oversized one, apparently, is better than this, from what I've heard, but I don't have that one. So yeah, I mean, take it or leave it. If you guys still want this guy, then I guess that's fine. I'd recommend going to see another review just to check to see if it is just mine. But, with that out of the way, I'm just not that big of a fan on this guy. So, with that said, I thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads, and I'll see you guys next time.